Hey, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. And let's talk about J. Cole a little bit. He just came out with a new record. I reviewed it. I thought overall the album was kind of mediocre, sadly. However, there were some good tracks on there. There were some highlights on the record that I thought were pretty good. One of the best of them being the final track on the album, which a lot of people have been categorizing as a diss track, even though it's not really a diss track. It's more of a advice track. Toward people like Lil Pump and basically this new wave of trap or mumble or SoundCloud rappers, whatever you want to call them. Basically telling them how they may make more money, see longevity in the industry. It's a little patronizing, as I said in my review, but still, I feel like what Cole said on that track made sense. I feel like what Cole was saying on that track was overall good advice, and it didn't come across to me that sure, he was looking down on them a little bit, but it didn't seem to me that he hated them or thought they were terrible, or at least didn't, in his own way, try to understand where they were coming from or why they would be making such music or feel such a way. I mean, they're young, they're impressionable, and they just kind of want to do whatever they want to do. But Lil Pump has responded since J. Cole came out with this track, and his responses have not really been, I guess, all that open to anything that J. Cole is saying, which is a little unfortunate. I, in the past, I guess, have said that, hey, we could potentially see Lil Pump get his head right and maybe become a more interesting artist over time. But after this point, I'm kind of wondering whether or not we're actually going to see that. I mean, maybe he could be kind of yucking up this drama a little bit for the cameras because getting J. Cole's attention, because he did record like a crappy J. Cole diss track a while back. Getting his attention, getting him to respond is exactly what Lil Pump wants. And whether he's going to, I guess, make the right moves personally and musically and financially down the road or not, it's most likely in his best interest to kind of stoke the flames of this beef. Because at the end of the day, it's just going to mean more. It's going to mean more attention. It's going to mean more streams. It's going to mean more money in his pocket. But still, will hear anybody else who is kind of in his camp take the advice that J. Cole is slinging? And most likely no. I mean, it seems like there are people who, I don't know if you would throw him in this category, but guys like 21 Savage have come forward and said, hey, I'm not spending money on chains anymore. I'm going to be investing in real estate and small businesses and crypto and other ventures and so on and so forth. And hey, that's an excellent idea. That's exactly what I feel like a lot of these rappers should be doing with the large gobs of cash that are suddenly being thrown their way, because you're going to find yourself in a position where maybe because you didn't plan anything financially, you don't have a house to live in, you can't make the money on the jewelry that you spent originally, because like no credible jeweler is going to buy your, I don't know what, your rhinestoned Sonic head emblem. I don't know if any rapper actually owns one of those. I'm not trying to diss any specific person. I'm just saying, that in general. Chances are the only place that's going to buy that back from you is the kind of place that would make that sort of emblem, and they're not just going to hand you full price for it. And depending on whatever the value of gold is, I mean, you could get more or less for it, but I think that they're probably not taking that too deeply into account when they're buying pieces back from people. So, yeah, it's not the best investment. Maybe some people can trick themselves into thinking it is, but it's truly not. So I guess I'm just coming out here to say that these rappers are most likely not going to take J. Cole's advice. Some of them may, but most often they're not going to. And honestly, I feel like this is kind of just kind of the natural order of things in a way, because rappers come in, and not even just rappers, because it's happened in other genres of music too. Artists come in who are young, they're naive, and maybe they see some success because they write a few good songs or they have a great image that fits with whatever trend is prevailing right now. And they kind of get lost in that trend. They get lost in that wave that they've kind of rode in on. And then they have no answer as to what to do once that tide is kind of pulled back into the ocean. And that's been happening for generation after generation in popular music. That's been happening for decade after decade in popular music. And listen, it's not going to be any different this time around. If it was, we would see some of these artists kind of seeing the writing on the wall. And eventually when this sound, this wave of trap and mumble rap and SoundCloud rap, when it eventually turns because people find interest in something else, or a new group of kids comes up pushing and promoting and supporting a different sound, once that happens, then, what the hell are these rappers going to do? Because not only are they going to be hit with that, but as J. Cole says in his tracks, and again, it's true, as in the track, the last track of the record I'm referencing. This music is fun. It's entertaining. It's nice for me to put on every once in a while, but there are a lot of people who live, eat, and breathe this stuff, and they're gonna grow up and they're gonna want to listen to something else, or they're just gonna move on to different points in their lives where they're just not gonna want to listen to turn up shit all the time. And hey, it's happened to everybody. You think people my age weren't listening to dumb, stupid, ignorant party shit when I was young? We absolutely were. That's all we were listening to. I know some people like to hate on the new generation, all their music sucks and their music doesn't mean anything and blah, 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 blah. But I was there, and most of the mainstream music we were listening to didn't mean shit either. A lot of it was really bad. A lot of it was really trash. A lot of it was really shallow. I think in my older age, I've seen more purpose for it than I did when I was younger, but still, I just kind of see it as the natural order of things. And if these rappers do manage to take J. Cole's advice, they will have played with their money correctly, and they will be able to bow out of the industry having set themselves and their loved ones and anyone who's close to them for life, or they will have figured out how to artistically work through this sea change so they can continue in the industry, but with a different sound, a different direction, just kind of fit in with whatever else is prevailing at the time. And listen, and that's not to disrespect any of these newcomers, because again, it's happened in the past. Because there are tons of obscure artists who fell under the wave of the bling era, and now you don't know who the hell they are anymore because they weren't able to do anything that didn't sound like it was ripping off Jay-Z or some crunk shit or The Game or Dipset or something like that. So that's all. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. And Lil Pump probably not going to take J. Cole's advice. Okay? All right, over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. You're cute, you're wonderful, and you're beautiful. Forever.